Viktor Frankl begins his story not with theory, but with the raw reality of deportation. One day he's a psychiatrist treating patients in Vienna. The next he's on a train to Auschwitz, packed into a cattle car with 80 other men. No food, no water, no toilet, no information. When the doors finally open after days of travel, the first thing that hits him is the smell, burning flesh from the crematoriums working nonstop. This is his introduction to the concentration camp universe. The opening pages capture what he calls the first psychological phase. Shock. New arrivals stumble through selection, where SS doctors casually decide in seconds who lives, and who walks straight to the gas chambers. Frankl watches 90% of his own transport vanish. Those who survive are stripped naked in the freezing cold, shaved head to toe, showered with disinfectant that stings open wounds, then handed identical striped uniforms. With wooden shoes that blister their feet. Personal identity evaporates to become a number. Frankl describes the camp routine with brutal precision. For 30 a.m. wake up by screaming capos, swinging clubs, endless roll calls, where guards count prisoners like inventory, 12-hour work shifts, hauling stones or digging ditches on 300 calories a day. Beatings were constant, random, casual. Hunger wasn't just physical, it became the organizing principle of existence. Prisoners traded gold wedding rings for a single cigarette, then that cigarette for a spoonful of soup. Frankl admits he once contemplated killing himself over a fish head another prisoner threw away, but even in these opening pages, something remarkable emerges. Frankl notices that while physical torture breaks the body, something deeper can break the spirit faster. Apathy. Prisoners who once cried at brutality now walk past corpses without blinking. Emotional numbness becomes survival. Yet Frankl observes that some men resist this total dehumanization. How? He begins forming his first hypothesis. Those who maintain some inner distance, some mental reservation of freedom, seem to endure longer. Even here, in the first 66 pages, the seed of his great discovery is planted. Between stimulus and response, there's a space, and in that space lies our power. As weeks turn to months, Frankl enters what he calls the second psychological phase, relative apathy, a kind of waking death. The prisoner no longer expects anything good, so nothing disappoints. He's a walking reflex. Work, eat, sleep, survive. But Frankl's psychiatrist training never leaves him. He starts observing his fellow prisoners like specimens, cataloging how the human spirit responds to systematic cruelty. These middle pages contain some of the book's most haunting observations. He describes how prisoners pass through predictable stages. First came delusion new arrivals fantasizing about imminent liberation, packages from home, quick release. Then disillusionment hit, no packages came, new liberation, no quick release. Many then entered depersonalization, referring to themselves in the third person. Number 9 and 104 will carry the stones today. Frankl saw grown men reduced to fighting over a scrap of moldy bread, then moments later risking their lives to share it. But the real revelation comes when he studies who survives and who gives up. He notices a pattern. Prisoners who lost all sense of future, who believed they had nothing waiting for them outside the barbed wire, died fast. A man might survive brutal beatings, starvation, dysentery, freezing nights, then die in his sleep for no apparent reason. Frankl calls this giving up a conscious or unconscious decision that life no longer demanded anything of them. Conversely, he sees others endure the unimaginable because they carried an image of the future. One man survived typhus by fantasizing about reuniting with his wife. Another clung to the thought of finishing interrupted research. Frankl himself survived by imagining himself lecturing about the camps after the war, turning present suffering into future meaning. This discovery becomes his lifeline. He who has a big why to live can bear almost anyhow. These middle pages shift the book from mere survival story to psychological revelation. Frankl isn't just enduring the camps. He's learning from them right in the middle of hell. The liberation comes, but it's no fairy tale. Frankl weighs only 90 pounds when American tanks finally roll in. He describes the surreal difficulty of re-entering normal life. Eating too much and getting sick. Fearing touch after years without it. Feeling like a ghost among civilians who stare but can't comprehend. But the final third of the book reveals his greatest contribution, not his survival, but what he built from it. Frankl introduces Logotherapy, his third Viennese school of psychotherapy after Freud and Adler, where Freud said we seek pleasure and Adler said we seek power. Frankl insists our primary drive is the will to meaning. Life isn't about feeling good. It's about mattering. When we lose that sense of purpose, we don't just get bored. We suffer an existential vacuum that leads to depression, addiction, aggression, or apathy. He outlines 3 avenues to meaning with crystal clarity. First, creative values, what we give to life through work, art, raising children, any genuine contribution. Second, experiential values, what we take from life through love, beauty, relationships, transcendent experiences. Third and hardest, attitudinal values, the meaning we create when facing unavoidable suffering. Not all pain has purpose, but our stance toward pain always does. The book's climax is Frankl's most famous idea. Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing. The last of the human freedoms to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way. Nazi guards control these circumstances, but never his inner response. This freedom exists in everyone, everywhere, always. Frankl ends with a challenge. Life isn't asking what we expect from it, but what it expects from us. Every moment confronts us with a task, a person who needs us, a responsibility we can't escape. Stop expecting life to give you meaning. Life is asking you to create it. These final pages transform a Holocaust memoir into a manual for modern existence proof that even total loss can't extinguish the human capacity to say yes to life. Frankl teaches us that suffering doesn't define us. Our response does. In the worst place on earth, he discovered we always have one freedom, to choose our attitude. No matter what life takes from you, it can never take your power to find meaning, to say yes to life with dignity. Your journey, shared strength. Your greatest power isn't in changing circumstances, but in deciding who you'll be within them. Live with purpose, because the right why will help you endure anyhow. Grow your meaning and find your why. If this man's search for meaning summary moved you, subscribe now and hit the bell icon. To catch more life-changing book summaries, drop a comment below. Which book should I summarize next? Thanks for watching.